Hi, welcome to my Mastering Your Alignment Body series. Today we are talking all about the power of neutral while lying down on our side. And if you haven't seen the other 3 videos where I talk about lying on your stomach and on your back and while on all fours, then I highly recommend hitting that link there to see those videos. Also, in the first one, I talk all about the power of neutral and why it's so important. So lying on our stomach is really interesting because it's not something we normally do. So our brain has a hard time adjusting to what we're doing. So it really takes a lot of practice. It can take a lot of time till your body sort of clicks with what's going on your side. So just be patient with yourself. It really doesn't come automatically. So just take time to just kind of be aware how your body feels, and then you can just fine tune the more that you practice, okay? My name's Gretchen, founder of Balance to the Core, and if you're new here, you haven't heard this spiel yet, please hit subscribe as well as the bell next to it to get notified whenever I have a new video. I'm here all the time and I would love to have you. So you're gonna take your mat and you're gonna lie down on your side, and let's do this. Okay, so when we're lying on our side, less of our body is on the mat versus when we're on our stomach or on our back. Okay, so we got to deal with that. And we're also lying in sort of a plane that we're not used to being in. We're not used to being in this position. Okay, so our pelvis is actually looking forward and backward, and we're resting on a hip. It takes time for our body to adjust to this position, which is why I'm talking to you while you're lying here. So you can sort of just get used to feeling yourself on your side. So now you're going to see various hand position and arm position when we're in this. You know, some instructors will have you on your shoulder where you're working shoulder stability, maybe on your hand where you're working shoulder flexibility. But today I just want you to kind of cradle your head or have your arm long and cradle it. It's all about what's feeling comfortable in your neck. And I've talked about when you can't get into that start position correctly, maybe a pad underneath or a pillow underneath your head will help keep that neck in the middle of your shoulders, okay? But we're gonna bend our bottom leg so we have a little bit more base of support. Notice the difference, right? It's a little wobbly, where if you bend that leg, we can just have a little bit more stability. Now with our pelvis, we're looking for the hip bones and the pubic bone to be in the same plane, right? So when we're on the side, it means several things. Either one, we don't want to tilt that pelvis. And this is what I see a lot, where that top hip sinks into the waist, and then you can see my hips aren't on top of one another. What I want is my hip to be right above my lower hip, okay? I also want to be careful I don't lean forward, or most of us have a tendency to lean back in it, okay? So we want to make sure that we don't tilt forward or back. We don't tilt in or forward, okay? So how do we manage this? Okay, so basically you want to try to line yourself up with the back of your mat, and you want to try to feel sort of the natural curves of your spine here. We don't want to flex that chest forward. We want to really try to keep length out of our head. So you can place your hand there like we've always been doing and really reach out of the crown of your head and then reach out of your tailbone. Actually take your top hand and rest it on your hip and flex this top foot. We're going to lift that leg just about hip height, okay? Now I want you to take an inhale here. Really widen your ribs. On your exhale, draw the belly in. Draw the ribs in and try to push this top heel all the way to the other side of the room. Now you're pushing it from your hip, so you can actually place your hand here and actually push on that hip a little bit to really press. Now try to stay there. Do you notice what happened in your pelvis, in your spine? Bring it back in. Okay, so what I felt is my waistline collapse a little bit, okay, and this hip moved back. So take an inhale, prepare. On my exhale, push through that heel and actually push from the hip. Now as I push, I'm actually lining up my pelvis right now, and look what happens to your spine. That waistline should lift a little bit where you have an air pocket underneath your waist. Bring it back in. It collapsed, right? On your exhale, push. Try to do it now without your hand. Use this top hand to stabilize you. Inhale. Now you can actually let it kind of fall a little bit, and then exhale, push. See if you can feel that difference. Tailbone reaching to the opposite side of the wall too. So your spine is reaching one direction, your heel and your tail the other direction. Now stay there. Keep it lined up and point your foot. Now from here is where I want you to lift and lower.
So that hip keeps reaching. And what I often see in this is where the hip sort of pulls in and out as we lift. And we think it's, oh, how high can I lift my leg? But no, it's about maintaining that neutral pelvis and working your femur bone right into that hip socket, right? Can you feel that work? It's a little different than what you're probably used to feeling. And then you can do little circles too. And just feeling, again, that bone right in the hip socket. So it's turning in there, not moving the pelvis and keeping stable in the spine. Okay? Shoulder back, reaching out of the crown of your head, circle the other way. Good. And then we do like lots of different sort of series while on our side like that. So you can see it takes a lot of stability of the spine, one, so you want to constantly reach instead of kind of this here hanging out, right? It's easy to hang out in this, where if you can really pull that top shoulder back, reach out of the crown of your head, you have the same position as if you were on your stomach or on your back. It's the same spinal position. All you're doing is on your side. So play with that a little bit. Hopefully it was a little helpful for you, but if you can if you think about all of these body positions so far, it's all about decompressing the spine. So it's all about that spinal reach while keeping the plane of the pelvis even. So whatever you're doing, just make sure you're reaching and that pelvis is in the same plane. So you're not sort of tilting it either way. So if you can just keep those two things in, what's going to happen is your belly's going to naturally engage and sort of the rest of your body will naturally fall into place. Although those shoulders like to elevate, so we want to keep those shoulders down too. But again, just keep practicing. Let me know how it goes. Use the comment section here if you have any questions for me, okay? So thank you so much for being here, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Take care. Are you looking for more accountability or consistency in your workouts? Or maybe you'd like to be part of a community who also loves Pilates? If so, come join my live online classes. More information and signups at balancetothecore.com.